Hey, what's up? It's your boy Armenian Jedi 13 here, back with another glorious, wonderful, fantastic, fabulous episode of Fandom Podcast. With me here today is young Gucci Slides, and today we are starting a new section, a new segment called Fandom Podcast Unscripted. Today's topic will be Nintendo's future plans and what they've done right, what they're doing right, and what they should do right, as well as all the mistakes that they've made along the way. Young Gucci, what would you like to say before we start?
Well, if you guys think we're going to be hating on Nintendo, we're not. We love Nintendo, and sometimes they slip up, and we're just wanting what's best for them.
Yeah. This segment is completely unscripted. It's the most raw form of bro commentary possible. We're going to be covering all our bases here. This will take a little bit of time, but should be over by the time you're done with your morning commute. Okay.
If your commute's 3 hours.
So starting off, we've got Nintendo's recent rumors. There are recent rumors that they're going to release an S or I or XL or new version of the Switch. What do you think of this?
Well, the possibility is likely, but I don't think that in like a year of its lifetime that will be the case, especially. I think we're going to have to wait for people to actually advance from their 720p TVs and their 1080p TVs to some real 4K TV stuff until Nintendo will need to, upgrade either the Switch or the dock itself to support those resolutions at a higher frame rate.
And this is something that many big gaming giants often jump the gun and mess up on. Key example is Microsoft. They released the Xbox One S, which outputs, at least to my knowledge, at 4K. I own one, so
For movies only.
Yeah, and then they release the Xbox One X, which does essentially the same thing. It's more expensive and, graphics, whatever, but that's not... At least to me, that's a big factor in deciding what console to buy, but it's not the deciding factor. And many owners were confused by the fact that these releases were only a year or two apart, which is why the Xbox One X is tanking and why Microsoft is kind of retconning it from their newest system to more of a half upgrade, which is why there are big rumors for the fourth Xbox to come out. Same stuff with the PS4 Pro. Many just want a PS5. Understandable. Nintendo has tried this before, and it did work to a degree, to an extent, with the new Nintendo 3DS XL. Christian, would you mind explaining why the new Nintendo 3DS was such a success?
Well, I'm going to be honest, it wasn't a success. At least in the way that Nintendo was envisioning it. Let's be honest. It may have done a little bit. It may have boosted sales because it's a new 3DS. Literally. But there weren't that many.
Can we talk about the naming for just one hot second?
Oh, yeah, sure.
The new Nintendo 3DS. Wow, what were they smoking? I'm serious.
And can I get some of it?
I don't know. The new Nintendo 3DS, DSi, XL, 2DS for kids, disc drive, Genesis Advance, Turbo, Graphics 16, and Knuckles at the Olympic Games.
2012.
Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. It'll just
Battle Royale.
Funniest home videos. It'll just never end. Anyway, continue.
Well, anyway, so there weren't that many new 3DS exclusive games, and that kind of limited people from buying the new 3DS, because I own an original 2DS, and while it cannot fold itself, it plays most of its games in the 3DS library fine, and the only ones that it couldn't play is Xenoblade Chronicles, which came out for the Wii.
No, I agree with Christian. Perhaps I may have misspoken when I said success. I'll elaborate on that in a second.
Not a failure.
Definitely not a failure. But the biggest problem facing these minor hardware, like mid-generation upgrades, is that there's no real reason to buy them. The only drive is that if you haven't bought a 3DS up until that point, then you've got the best possible one you can buy. If you're a long-time owner of the 3DS, unless you're a hardcore nerd like me, you've got essentially no reason to upgrade. Now, some studios like to pull the exclusive games, game-exclusive things for their mid-generation upgrades.
This game only on Xbox One X.
And and this is generally a big problem. To my knowledge, I don't think Xbox One X has any exclusive games. It has enhanced for Xbox One X, which is lame. Same with the One S, which really exists just to output a 4K, so there's no real reason to upgrade there. I don't know if there are any PS4 Pro exclusives. Are there?
No, but you can play some games at a 4K resolution, which the PS4 and the newly announced PS4 Slim, which is basically just a PS4.
So unless, because most of these games already output beautifully. If you've seen games like Star Wars Battlefront and Assassin's Creed and Forza Horizon, all these games are gorgeous already. So unless you're a real, techno nut, there's no real reason to upgrade.
Yeah, especially if you don't even have a 4K or 4K TV or a 1440p monitor.
It's like the Skylanders effect. You buy one toy in order to buy more toys, which means that you have to buy more things altogether, which means more money spent and more money earned for the base company. If Sony is making you play games at 4K, that means you're going to have to buy a Sony TV and a Sony HDMI converter in order to play that Sony video game. If you get what I'm saying. Now,
Sony has no exclusives.
Yeah, I know. Well, what really makes the Nintendo approach unique is that I actually did find the new 3DS thing worth it, but only, only for hardcore gamers. Because unlike other systems which just offer a graphics boost, the new 3DS doesn't offer very much in the way of graphical enhancements. It does have super stable 3D, but that's more of a side feature.
The screen is still 240p.
What essentially happens is that it turns the 3DS into a portable Wii U, which may sound lame compared to the Switch, but in retrospect,
it's a portable Wii U.
Well, in retrospect, this is quite frankly pretty awesome, because the biggest problem with the Switch is its public perception. People think it's a handheld. And it really just pisses me off to see on the internet.
Don't say that word. My parents watch this.
Yeah, this is a Christian Minecraft server. What really annoys me is that... What was I saying? You just totally made me forget.
The Switch is portable when it's not.
Right. It's a portable system. It's not a handheld. I hate to inform you. Now, that might sound dumb, and it probably is dumb. But just hear me out. It is not usurping the 3DS.
Yeah.
Why would Nintendo... Well... Just hear me out, because this always annoys me when YouTubers are like, oh, it's replacing it, Like, no, it's not. Why would Nintendo ditch the last remaining member of the handheld market, and currently the only one, because they destroyed all the competition, for
the Vita's still alive.
15 years? Why would they abandon a massive install base, and a massive, pile of money, essentially? Just because the Switch is, more portable. The Switch is, if anything, more breakable. It's more vulnerable to everything. The biggest improvement is that it's basically a Vita that plays good games. I do think that the 3DS should be phased out eventually, and I think we're coming to that time. I do think that next year one of the big announcements will be a new dedicated handheld. That's the big word here. Switch is not a dedicated handheld. It's really a home console that also acts as a portable, and you see in many instances that it's meant to be played on the TV. I am passionate about this because I do a lot of traveling.
I play my Switch portably exclusively. Just a reminder.
So Christian and I, we're busy guys. We play most of our games exclusively, exclusively. Sorry, I got thrown off. Exclusively handheld.
Oh, I didn't do right.
So having that ease of portability is meaningful for us. I'm a big Splatoon nut. Having Splatoon 2 virtually anywhere whenever I want it is wonderful and fantastic. However, games like Splatoon 2 are so over-reliant on certain gimmicks.
Such as Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch Wi-Fi connection is horrible. It's awful. I'm not going to get into that.
Almost as bad as the Wii's.
I'm not going to get into that, take Mario Odyssey for example. That game has motion controls. They're horrible motion controls. Not that they don't work right, but because they can only be used in the TV mode, or rather, they're best used in TV mode, not
with
tabletop.
Separate Joy-Cons, you can't even use that Pro controller.
Yeah, so it's many of these games are made to be played one way and one way exclusively, and that's generally on the TV.
But no,
But with the let me finish this train of thought before I forget. Is that with the new 3DS, what they did? Can't believe I'm coming back to this. Is that they added new buttons and new things to optimize the total experience. And yeah, the exclusive games were really lame. I think Xenoblade Chronicles is a terrible game, but that's just my opinion. Not very popular opinion.
Shulk's a good person in Smash, though.
Yeah, he's all right. Well, what I do like is that it boosts playability for games like Luigi's Mansion, the new port that just came out. Because now the 3DS is...
Wait, the 3DS is still getting games?
Yeah. Well, the 3DS is essentially now a GameCube, which is nice. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I like
failure?
Well, no. It's one of their most successful systems, and it's probably the best way to play old games.
That wasn't the GameCube. That was the N60... No, not the N64. The SNES.
SNES. Thank you very much.
Anyway, but... So, earlier you were talking about how you are kind of still clinging onto the 3DS.
Yes.
And I care to disagree, because if you think about it, the 3DS has been out for almost 8 years.
I do feel like it is time for a generation upgrade, a new Game Boy or DS or whatever they decide to call it. I do not think it's time to abandon the line.
But I feel like that the Switch is actually that successor, if you catch my drift.
I do catch your drift.
But not right now necessarily. I think in 2019 there will probably not be any games coming out for the 3DS except for indie games. And I would say Just Dance, but maybe not this time.
Well, Just Dance is still coming out on the Wii, so you never really know.
Yeah, but I feel like, but here's a prediction I have, that in 2019 or 2020, they will at least release a upgrade with quotation marks on it for the Switch. That is basically a smaller Switch, integrated Joy-Cons stuck to the system. That'd basically be it. Kind of look like a Game Boy Advance, but a little bit bigger.
So more like a 3DS successor than a Switch upgrade.
And it would be able to play most of the games that the Switch could play, except for ones that require the TV mode specifically, which I can't find any examples.
So you mean like a smaller, more durable Switch, lower screen resolution?
Maybe not lower screen resolution.
Okay.
They could probably keep it at 720p.
Okay, so yeah, 720p is realistic. Let's say 720p, smaller, more durable, can play some of the Switch games, but also has its own exclusives.
Why would it have its own exclusives if the Switch would be able to play most of its games?
Well, because if it can't play most of the games, it doesn't have a lot going for it. But yeah, I agree with you there. I do. Now let's move into Nintendo's 2018. So our consensus on the Nintendo Switch mid-year upgrade is probably a yes, but no one can really tell at this point.
Yeah, but I wish that they would just stick with it for a little bit longer.
Because especially since so many of us just barely got our hands on a Switch.
I got a hand on my Switch like last year. It's not even its birthday yet.
Yeah, it just seems a little unrealistic to hope for such a massive upgrade, so soon. Anyway, moving on from that. Let's talk about Nintendo's first 2 years with their new business model and how that's going for them. Now, I have an opinion that Nintendo was front-loading the Switch. Now, let me explain. The Wii U had some big problems. One of its biggest was that games were not releasing at a consistent rate. And I have a feeling that the reason was because they were developing lots of big games like, let's say, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and Splatoon 2.
Kirby Allies.
Yeah. Yeah, Yoshi, Fire Emblem, Metroid Prime 4. All of these games were set in motion far before the Switch came out. Maybe not Smash. Maybe not Metroid Prime 4, but all these games were being made before the Wii U came out, which is probably why all
the Switch, not the Wii U.
Yeah.
Or would have been out by now.
Yeah, sorry. So all these games were in development before the Switch came out. And you can say I'm wrong, but you can't really, because when they announced the Switch in that when they went over the Switch details in that January event, they had what looked like working builds of Mario Odyssey and Zelda Breath of the Wild, along with other more tech demo-y games like 1-2 Switch and stuff like that. So it seems to me like they were putting all their dev teams to work for 2017. I mean, look at this amazing year in game history. 2 new Metroid games announced. One of them released. We got Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Splatoon 2. This amazing year that capped off with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And now we look at 2018. And there's pretty much nothing, no big release this entire year, besides Smash, obviously, and
a couple
Mario
of
Party.
things here and there, but, you know.
And I don't know about you guys, but I was so disappointed. I had more fun watching the March Nintendo Direct than the entirety of E3, and that is not a lie. E3 was the worst, one of their worst presentations ever, and a lot of people will try to tell me to change my mind.
With the Wii U.
It was garbage, like absolute garbage. Even 2015 was better in my opinion because it had, a presentation. It had charisma.
It had Reggie.
Reggie. They pretty much hinged all of their presentation on Overcooked 2, which is an indie game that there's not like a massive following for.
I don't care about it.
Other games. And Fortnite, which is a free game that's been out for a couple years at this point. Along with the announcement.
But it's only gotten popular around the last year. And then its peak was probably when school was about to end. When the 2017-2018 school year was about to end. And Fortnite Mobile has just come out for iPhones.
Yeah, so it was smart to release it right then and there. That's my opinion. But it was not smart to focus on the game that pretty much everyone on Earth has played at this point. If you look at the statistics.
Android users.
Statistics. Yeah, except for Android users, because who cares about them, right?
And Windows Phone.
Move closer to the mic. So anyway.
Windows Phone.
I don't know. And then they announced Super Mario Party, and yeah, that's good, and I'm happy that they did it, because Mario Party is a dying franchise at this point after 10. The problem with this...
After 8.
Yeah, after the car. The problem with this is that besides not putting enough attention on it at the expo, is that, to my knowledge, Mario Party doesn't have a ravenous fan base, as big as, like...
Mario Kart or Smash
or Mario or Zelda
Kirby.
or Kirby. Exactly.
Especially Kirby.
Or even Yoshi or Fire Emblem. Nobody was jumping out of their seats going, "Hey, look, Mom, Dad, come here, look, Mario Party. They just announced a new one. It's coming back and there's no car and look, it's the gimmicks." No one was doing this. No one was laugh out loud, crazy, mind-blowing, excited about this. To my knowledge, everyone was sitting in their chair. They said, "Super Mario Party's coming to Nintendo Switch." Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. That's good. I'm sure it'll be a great game when it comes out.
I love you, Reggie.
Like nobody cared, and I know that a lot of people are going to be hating on me in the comments, but whatever. Who cares? Okay, this is my opinion. Now take a look at the Yoshi and Fire Emblem, which were pretty much the only 2 games we knew were coming out this year. Both got canceled.
Wait, Yoshi got canceled?
Or rather, delayed into the next year.
Oh.
It just seemed to me like this year, and with all the ports that came out and stuff, it seemed to me that this year was kind of Nintendo's cover-up year, because they're still the same old procrastinating Nintendo that doesn't care about the fans, that releases games too late.
They're like me when I have assignments in school.
Is that after putting pretty much 3 years of their development time into 2017, they put 6 months into 2018, which is really, really unfortunate. Now, can we talk a little bit about Mario Tennis Aces? Gucci, can you take it from here? I've been talking a lot, so...
Okay, well, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that big of a Mario Tennis guy. I wasn't raised on Mario Tennis. I was raised on Mario Kart Wii. But, as from the view of it, it seems that the series reached a peak during the GameCube era / Wii era. And it dipped really hard on the Wii U with Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Very horrible game. I didn't even buy it. And I think they're slowly getting better, but I feel like that we won't be seeing another Mario Tennis for quite a while until maybe a new 3DS or Switch upgrade or Mario Tennis Mobile.
I agree with that perfectly. What makes this game unique, though, if you could elaborate on this a little bit, is that it's one of the only brand new first-party Nintendo games besides Kirby, Super Mario Party, and Smash that came out this year. I bought it. I'm a proud owner of this game. And it's alright. The story mode is kind of... People really hate on it. I like it just because the physics are so great.
I don't even own it.
But just talking outside of the game itself, what makes it unique is that Nintendo put so much marketing power into this game that, wasn't
almost
massive.
as much as they put in Fortnite.
Seriously, it feels to me like they're putting more love into Fortnite than they are Mario Tennis. I do notice that they're treating it more subscription-based, like they're adding content over time, which is smart. But that game, to me, just showcases, like, it's a perfect embodiment of 2018 for Nintendo. Kind of half-baked, has a lot of potential, it just needs to be expanded upon.
Kind of like my grades.
Yeah, grades. What a wonderful topic. Moving on, can we talk now a little bit about NSO, Nintendo Switch Online? We have a lot of strong opinions about this. Christian, could you begin? Can you explain to us what it is and what you think about it?
Well, the story goes all the way back to 2006. The internet was growing, and while it still has a little bit to reach its peak, especially in online gaming, it's still good. The Nintendo Wi-Fi connection was about to come out. A couple years later, there's going to be new Mario Kart and Smash Brothers. And Mario Kart Wii and Smash Brothers Brawl were probably the games that everyone played online for free.
Don't forget that around this time is when Xbox and PlayStation introduced their extremely successful and profitable basically pay-per-view system for online games, which also, besides granting you online access, gives you access to a couple of AAA games every month, which is really neat. The only problem is that its price is almost as much as a used console from GameStop. Anyway, Christian, continue.
$20. Okay, so Xbox, I heard you couldn't play online unless you had their Xbox Live, but for PlayStation, I know this because I own a PlayStation 3. You could actually still play online. You just couldn't have all the cool benefits of being a PlayStation owner. And that's how I would like it to be for the Switch if they have to do it that way, is let us play online, or at least let us play a select few games online, because I feel that Splatoon 2 won't be played unless you give some free online.
Exactly. No, the other problem to me is that Nintendo is so behind on what gaming companies are doing. They should put in a online service, in my opinion, especially to capitalize on games like Splatoon 2. The only problem with their current plan is this. Okay,
No GameCube games.
Exactly, pretty much. $20, that's excellent price point. That's like 3 times cheaper than what all of the other companies are doing right now. However, and I know I'm not the first to say this, nor will I be the last, but giving us online, which has been free for a year now, again, so that's not very exciting for $20, but also giving us a variety of NES games for $20, yeah, that does make sense budget-wise if each game is $5 on the Virtual Console. But not just that, but updating the library monthly with more really lame NES games that nobody really wants to play. It's just so, like, what were they smoking? Once again, like, what were they thinking?
And where can I get some of it?
Well, I'm sorry, but, like, are you really going to shell out $20 to play soccer on the NES?
Well,
it's just
okay.
mind-blowing to me that they even have the gall.
And I feel like I'd be a little bit less mad if they stuck to their guts and released the online service when the Switch came out, or at least before I got a Switch.
Yeah. They need to release better games. I know they're eventually going to get around to the Super Nintendo, and the N64, and eventually the GameCube.
Hopefully the Wii.
Yeah, hopefully the Wii. But really, in retrospect, they're either going to cancel it, they're going to upgrade their system, there'll be a new console or whatever. It just doesn't feel like it's ever going to happen. It's going to take so ridiculously long to happen that we will have already moved on at that point. Like, I really don't want to sit through two generations of games that pretty much any human being on Earth has heard about or played, just to get to the stuff that's actually worth some money, like Mario 64, Luigi's Mansion, Sunshine.
And playing all those games online.
Double Dash, yeah. And, like, playing those games online, to me, it's a little false advertising. Basically, you can play the game if one of the guys on your friends list is online, which is, interesting.
Or then you could just give your friend a ring, you know?
Yeah.
You could just be like, hey, can you play some Dr. Mario with me?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. Now, to move on, I'm going to give you the reins for a second because you seem to know more about this than me.
Okay.
Was the Wii U the perfect virtual console machine? Christian?
Now, you may think that as a virtual console enthusiast, I would say yes. But I'm actually going to say kind of.
Would you care to elaborate?
So, I'm going to leave Wii backwards compatibility out of this just for a second.
All right.
The Wii U had a great selection of games, all the way from the NES to the N64, and if you could count some of the Wii games being re-released as Virtual Console, you could count that too. And then Game Boy Advance as well, and a couple other things. There was a great selection of games. You could button map your controls, because I do not like using the B button on the Wii U controller for B. I like using X.
Once again, what were they smoking when they came up with that controller design? I really want to know.
And where can I get some of it? So, and there was a great selection of games. So, why would I only be kinda? It's mainly because of the quality of the emulation. Because, spoiler alert, there is no NES inside of the Wii U.
What does the Wii even run at, like 240p? Or like 540? I really don't know.
The Wii U runs at...
Or the Wii.
Oh, the Wii U runs at 480p, the Wii U runs at 1080p. But anyway, so the quality of the emulation is, well, shoddy. First of all, they darkened the picture. I think we all can notice that the picture is darkened on the Wii U for most games, especially original Nintendo Entertainment System games.
Like, if you can see side by side, like NES Classic, 3DS, and Wii U emulation, you can see there's a big difference with lighting quality anyway. Yeah.
And also the pixels aren't like razor sharp. They're actually a little bit soft.
Which is really annoying when it comes down to it.
And that's basically it for that. And I'm sure there's other nitpicky stuff, like it's not a correct integer scale or something like that.
And aspect ratio. If you move on, I feel like the 3DS is a pretty good emulation machine.
The 3DS is actually, I think it's pretty good. The screen's 240p, so it handles basically all the games it can run as a champ because it's original scale, and it kind of has this thing in non-3D mode where it kind of generates scan lines.
And because right now the 3DS is the only way we have to playing whatever game we want from 3 console generations
without subscribing.
Yes. So to me it's the best that we have right now. If you want to play Super Mario Bros. With you when you're, I don't know, waiting for your pizza order, that's the best way to do it. You can't. Well, that's right now.
You could emulate it on your phone.
You could jailbreak your phone, but we don't condone that, right, Nintendo? Wink,
but
wink,
we still
wink.
do it. But okay, so if the Wii U's not the perfect. Well, actually, before I talk about Virtual Console and emulation, I want to talk about the Wii U's backwards compatibility.
Yes, please.
Now, that's pretty good, but I'm going to specifically focus on Virtual Console games. The Wii still did a little bit of darkening, but it's still better. Didn't have save states or button mapping or any of that, but it was pretty good. And it also had things such as the Sega Genesis, you could have Virtual Console from that, like other things like the Neo Geo.
Yeah.
And stuff that Nintendo barely even messes with, like the Commodore 64, one of the greatest computers of all time.
Yeah, I don't know. They covered all their bases, and it was pure gaming ecstasy for a while.
It was, but I think that the Wii's probably your best bet if you're going Nintendo wise, unless you specifically want something for like a specific console, such as the SNES Classic or the NES Classic,
Unless you're an
or the
emulation
GameCube Classic. Wink, wink.
Right, Nintendo? Wink, wink, wink. Please, Nintendo, if you're listening, please endorse us for your ambassador program.
Game Boy Color Classic.
Please. All right. Well, Nintendo Switch Online, was it worth it?
I didn't buy it.
Oh, well, then you made the right decision, because I feel like,
I can still play Fortnite.
You kind of have to buy Nintendo Switch Online if you want to play anything online like Splatoon 2. So it's not like a voluntary purchase, I would say. It's kind of mandatory.
Hey, is it cool if I give a recommendation?
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay, so here's my recommendation. Get yourself a family plan and split it with... How many people can be on it?
Like 8.
Split it with 8 of your friends. It's going to be cheaper for all of you.
You have to be 18, though, is what I learned. I was, like, ready to spring for the family plan until it was like, you have to be 18, so...
So just have someone say they're 18. They're totally 18, Nintendo, don't worry. And then you could just bring out, and it's cheaper then, and I feel like it's more worth of a purchase if you do it that way. But I have no friends, so I can't do that.
Yeah. So, anyway, I believe our last topic, just to round everything up, is what will be our dream console. If we could just assemble something from all these scraps that we've talked about.
Nintendo or just anyone?
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, would you like to start off with your dream?
Yeah, well, I'll go with all 3 big competitors. My dream PS4 console is no PS4. My dream Xbox console would be something that outputs at a solid 4K, but can also go down to 1080p or even 720 if it really needs be. Something that, wireless compatibility, the Kinect, motion control needs to be integrated in all consoles at this point. I feel like they should do it in a better way than the Kinect, though, because that's one of the biggest fails of the Microsoft.
They don't even include it with the new Xboxes.
Yeah. Anyway, combined with that, I would like a either cheaper online service so I can get online for less money but also worse games, or a more expensive online service which still gives me online but gives me more recent AAA games, kind of like the Games Pass thing that they're doing right now.
Or the Fortnite Battle Pass. Include that in.
Yeah, and it'll also give you instant access to all the Fortnite stuff. Dream Nintendo console. My dream Nintendo console, this is a really far-fetched dream, but it would be like a home monitor, like a little box on the thing, that if you press like a button, it'll slide out this little cartridge, and you unfold the cartridge, and it's a 3DS, and you can just keep playing that way. So it's like a true hybrid.
So it's like what the Wii U should have been.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe something like that, like a Wii U, but you could just take the gamepad with you.
Yeah.
Because we all know the gamepad is more durable than the Switch.
The gamepad's more durable than my phone.
And this dream console should have a disc slot and a cartridge slot for every generation, because why not? That would be like a Ouya, but good. But that's my dream Nintendo console. And maybe like a Game Boy to go with it, like a Game Boy Advance XD disc drive Genesis at the Olympic Games. I don't know, something like that. That's just me though. Christian, what's your closing thoughts on this dream console thing?
Well, I'm personally not gonna put a specific company because I feel that they could all pull this off. And personally, I hope that they would just all release on one console. Kind of like how everyone releases their movies on Blu-ray, and it's not like Blu-ray and HD DVD and an SD card. It's mainly all just Blu-ray or Netflix. So
I still love you, Redbox.
So it would output at 1080p, 1440p, 4K, 5K, and if they could pull it off, 8K, because I'm a boss.
Are 8K TVs even real?
8K monitors are.
Do they run games? Can it run Crysis?
I don't know, maybe the first one on low settings.
But can it run Crysis?
Okay, it have enough processing power that it could run, and that it should be able to handle any game at 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, but that'd only be if the TV manufacturers put better panels into their TVs, and
yeah.
And I don't want it to have any specific gimmicks personally this time, because I feel that most of them don't really hit it well, except for maybe the Switch.
Yeah, it lessens the experience. Get closer.
Okay, and pretty much it should be able to play every single game I want.
Yeah.
And cost the zero money.
Quick question. What AAA game from PlayStation or Microsoft would you like to see on the Switch? Go. Tell me.
On the Switch, Halo 5.
Yes. That's a pipe dream, unfortunately. Because Microsoft owns that
Wait,
franchise.
1 second. Actually, Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes, I think that might actually happen.
Replay.
You're like Crash Bandicroft. Tomb Raider and Crash Bandicoot.
Okay,
Anyway,
well.
I would like Battlefront 2. Keep the masses away from attacking me, okay? Just hear me out.
As in Star Wars?
Yeah, I would like to go from playing Battlefront on my Xbox, and then I have to go, I don't know, grocery shopping.
Shopping for the groceries.
And then I take out my Switch and just continue playing. That would be a dream come true.
Well.
It's just me. Okay, that was episode 2 of Fandom Podcast.
Okay, well, you put in the comments what your thoughts were on this episode, and here's a little question for you. Socks or sandals, or both?
There's only one correct answer, so choose wisely. We'll get back to you on this next episode. Quick sneak preview for next episode. My boy Young Gucci Slides is going to be doing a full deliberation on whatever he chooses, but I feel like it's going to have something to do with dragons and balls.
Or no, that sounds wrong.
That sounded wrong.
It's alright. Arigato gozaimasu. See y'all later.
See ya.